Hey, welcome back to Growing a Year. This is day 16. Kind of starting to look like a beard now. A little messy down here. Probably should tidy that up one more time. And one of my commenters mentioned that trimming your neck down here will cost you length in the long run, which is true. And I don't recommend trimming your neck after about the fourth or fifth week. Okay. I say trim your neck right now to keep it tidy while your beard's really small. But as your beard begins to thicken up and put on length, you should let this stuff down here grow because it will contribute to the overall length of the beard. So just wanted to clarify that. Over the weekend, we had a small milestone. We got 10 subscribers. It's not much of a milestone, but thank you for those of you who subscribed. And so in honor of that, we're going to do a 10 beard facts video today. And I've got all this white space over here for pictures. So we're going to do a little countdown to number one, to what I consider to be the coolest, weirdest beard fact from history. So number 10. Beard fact number 10. The Egyptian pharaohs used to wear fake metal beards on their faces that were tied in place behind your head with a ribbon as a symbol of their virility and their honor and power, and also to show that they were faithful to the god Osiris. And it's kind of a strange thing because originally they had beards, and then Egyptian tradition became to be as shaven as possible because they believed that that meant you were cleaner and more pure. For example, priests in Egyptian temples would shave everything, head, eyebrows, everything, every other day, so that they were, pure as they were serving the gods. And Egyptian pharaohs kind of did the same thing, but the beard persisted as a symbol of power and honor. And interestingly enough, it was not limited to men. Around 1400 BCE, there was a woman, she was the widow of Thutmose II, who was the pharaoh. When he passed away, she, rather than letting the male heir, who was a young boy, become pharaoh, her name was Hatshepsut. Here she is. She didn't hold up too well. No, here she is wearing the beard. She started wearing a metal beard on her chin as well to represent her power and honor as pharaoh, and it became an ongoing thing. But you notice here that the way she's depicted is kind of androgynous. The body is kind of built like a woman, but the facial features are stronger. It's really interesting sort of take on how important the beard was in looking powerful and looking, kingly to the Egyptian people. Interesting stuff. Number 9, ancient Mesopotamians were the first people that we know of for sure that put oil in their beards. They got really fancy with their beards. They used metal curling irons to make ringlets and waves and all kinds of tiered effects and stuff. And noblemen often wore really elaborate braids and ornaments, both braided into their beards and then, worn as necklaces around them and all kinds of stuff. And of course, when you think of Mesopotamia, you think of Hammurabi. So here's Hammurabi sporting a pretty intense beard, as you can see. It's intensely styled and also ornamented. Pretty cool stuff. I'd like to see these come back. I'd like to see like big giant braids with metal bands. That'd be cool. Be really cool. All right, beard fact number 8. The ancient Greeks saw beards as such an important sign of honor. Like not having a beard was seen as shameful. Or you could be in mourning, but more often than not, it was seen as a sign of shame. So it was so sacred that to have a beard, that one of the punishments they would hand out to criminals, traitors, murderers, people like that, was to shave their beard off. And so it marked them as a person of shame. And then, oddly enough, in about 345 BCE, this beardless punk came along. That's Alexander the Great. And told his soldiers that they needed to shave off their beards the night before battle because their beards could be grabbed in close combat. And this kind of led to a change in the fashion that in peacetime and, at home, you might have a beard. But if you're in the military and you're on campaign, no beards. And oddly enough, that persisted throughout history. Many, many militaries adopted that idea. Okay, beard fact number 7. Otto the Great, the Holy Roman Emperor from 962 until he died 11 years later, used to make important public statements by swearing upon his beard. He would say things like, I proclaim this to be true upon my beard, or I swear upon my beard this is fact, or whatever. So we can see here. It's not a really impressive beard. I don't know. It doesn't really seem oath-worthy to me. I was expecting something more Gandalf-y when I read that, but there it is. Okay. And kings at that time, and after that, used to add weight to their proclamations if they were in a written form by taking 3 beard hairs and adding them to the wax seal on the proclamation. And that was a way of sort of authenticating a proclamation, was that it had 3 beard hairs from the king. All right, fact number 6. Throughout the Middle Ages, beards were really important, to the point where touching another man's beard could be seen as an affront. It could be seen as offensive. And in fact, in some continental European cultures, tugging another man's beard, walking up to him and grabbing his beard and giving it a pull, was a challenge to a duel. It's kind of like you always see people with the gloves, slapping one another or throwing the gauntlet. Tugging someone's beard was the equivalent of throwing the gauntlet. Very interesting way to start a fight. I think that'd probably work today, actually, too. If you walked up to me and grabbed my beard and yanked it really hard, I'd probably smack you. Let's see. Fact number 5. In the ancient world, dyeing your beard was a really popular fashion. Egyptians favored reddish brown. The Assyrians were known for their dark black beards. And the Persians liked to wear kind of a reddish orange. Now, unfortunately, there are no pictures of this, obviously, but dyed beards can be pretty awesome, as we see here. Trippy, weird stuff, huh? Yeah, I don't think that's going to be happening on my face anytime soon, but interesting concepts. All right, beard fact number 4. Epictetus, the Greek Stoic philosopher, lived from AD 50 to AD 135. He wrote that his beard was such an important part of his identity and a part of who he was that he would rather be executed than have his beard cut, than submit to the cutting of his beard. And we see him here. It's a pretty epic beard. It's pretty sweet. You can see why he'd be attached to it. All right, beard fact number 3. Many pogonologists, that's, by the way, the word for people who study beards, have declared that the mid-1800s was basically the golden age of facial hair. And this kind of was started by the English. The English led this charge. At the time, they were trying to encourage like a more rugged, more manly view of masculinity in the men of England, because they were worried about the growing French military threat, and there had been a period where being clean-shaven and being kind of soft and dainty and dandyish was the norm amongst the upper classes, and so they were trying to encourage kind of a more rugged, outdoorsy thing, because they thought they were going to be going to war with France any day then. And so there were tons of editorials and essays and articles published in major publications in Great Britain about the benefits of the beard. And they talked about the aesthetic benefits, the health and safety issues, the cost of shaving, the danger of being in the barber's chair while he's there with a straight razor by your neck, all kinds of stuff like that. And of course, it was embraced by a great many people, including some sort of famous folks in that era. Like here we see Charles Dickens. This picture was taken 1858. He's got substantial face thing going there. It became popular in England, then of course spread to Europe and eventually to the U.S. Which brings us to beard fact number 2. The golden age of beards gave us some of the most famous beard styles. So, for example, we have sideburns, named for General Ambrose Burnside. You got to admit that's an impressive set of sideburns. Now, his sideburns are actually connected by his mustache, and people who are really serious about this kind of typology will say that that's not actually sideburns, that it's something else, friendly mutton chops or something to that effect. But he's the guy that the term sideburns supposedly came from. We also have, in this same time period, the chin curtain, also known as a chin strap, made popular by Abraham Lincoln. And, of course, the handlebar mustache. Now, the handlebar mustache is actually quite ancient. It's a very old style. The ancient Celts are depicted in Roman art as having sort of elevated mustache tips or curled mustache tips. But it is often associated with this 1850s kind of period. And of course, we see here one of the more famous people associated with the big handlebar mustache, and that'd be Wyatt Earp. Now, we today tend to think of a mustache that's waxed and curled upward as being a handlebar, but actually anything that's, extends out away from the corners of the mouth is considered a handlebar mustache. Another really famous beard style that came out of the mid-1800s is called the forked beard. And this guy here, German Imperial Navy Admiral Alfred von Tirpitz, fine example of the forked beard. And it was demonstrated that the forked beard kind of became his trademark. And so he was shown in political cartoons. You knew it was him by the fact that he had a forked beard. And of course, the neck beard. Now, at this point, I usually make fun of Horace Greeley because that's ridiculous. But it's actually nothing compared to this guy, Peter Cooper, the creator of the steam locomotive. The hell was he thinking? Wow, man. I mean, I'm all in favor of, growing your beard out, but what is this about? Okay, so this brings us to beard fact number 1. And this one's pretty weird. It's sort of more modern times. You should never underestimate the power of a good beard. Okay, what a good beard can do for a guy in terms of charisma and likability and believability. At one time, the CIA actually seriously discussed a plan to dust the shoes of Fidel Castro. To dust his shoes with something called thallium salts, which are a really powerful depilatory. They make your hair fall out. And they wanted to dust his shoes. He was going to travel outside the country, outside of Cuba, and they thought when he was at a hotel and he left his shoes outside, to be polished, this is full-service hotels back in the day, that they would snatch his shoes and dust them with thallium salts and then put them back. And when he wore them, this would make his beard fall out, which would in turn damage his popularity. This is American tax dollars at work right here. The CIA actually thought that Castro's beard was so important that getting it to fall out might damage his popularity. Never underestimate the power of a good beard. All right, so if you like these kind of weird little facts and information about beards, smash the like button. Also, be great if you subscribe and share this video with your like-minded beardy friends or people who like beards. We have another video coming up here middle of the week, and we're going to hopefully, my package from Universal Beard will be here by then, and we can do an unboxing and talk about products, and I'll open things up and smell them and tell you how they're wonderful, even though you can't experience it. Yeah. I wish YouTube had some sort of scent capability where like just put a drop of it on the camera and it goes to you. That'd be cool. I don't know what I'm talking about. So, don't forget, like, subscribe, and share the video. We'll see you next time.